Another thing I wanted to talk about with you is the future of the Republican Party, especially after some members of the party voted to go along with Democrats on the bipartisan infrastructure package, bipartisan in quotation marks. We have this from Bloomberg reporter Daniel Flatley. He overheard an exchange between Liz Cheney and John Katko on the House floor. Cheney said, "Hey, it's the Rhino." And Katko replied, "Takes one to know one." Of course, both of these folks have also voted for the impeachment of President Trump and the 1-6 Commission. I believe Katko was on board with that as well. But, you know, Rhino is not a term that, real grassroots conservatives throw around lightly. And for Liz Cheney and John Katko to be joking about this, do you think they're misreading where the energy is in the party?
First, I definitely think they're misreading where the energy is in the party. Secondly, to be blunt, I just don't really think that they care. The reality is that when you vote for things that advance the Democrat narrative or the Democrat agenda, the voters are not going to respond well to that, and they shouldn't. Let's be very clear. Voting for that infrastructure bill last week only opened up the floodgates for Joe Biden's Build Back Better, whatever you want to call it, a bill that's going to overspend in our economy and literally expand the social welfare state in our country. That's not good for our economy, not good for Americans. And Liz Cheney is literally co-signing every talking point by Nancy Pelosi, because the only thing that Democrats want to talk about now is January 6th, right, because every other piece of their agenda has failed.
Yes, and we see today the real priority for Nancy Pelosi is holding one of the members in contempt or whatever, or censuring Paul Gosar for a video, but not really focusing on what's really the priorities at hand. But let's get back to the Republican Party, because there were reports of a heated exchange between Texas Congressman Chip Roy and House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. CNN Capitol Hill reporter Melanie Zalona is the source on this. Also, a source told her that Roy was upset about Republicans and how they handled the Democrats, or handed the Democrats a win on the infrastructure bill. But Chip Roy also put out a new video, a new campaign video, targeting other Republicans who voted for this bill. Here he is.
A Republican majority isn't enough. Just days ago, 13 Republicans voted with Democrats to advance Biden's agenda. We need a majority who will fight for America's agenda, with the courage to speak the truth and to take on the go-along to get-along establishment in our own party.
I know Congressman McCarthy is also facing some heat from Marjorie Taylor Greene and others. Where do you come down on this? Is Kevin McCarthy, losing his grip as the majority leader or the minority leader?
Well, look, first thing I'm going to tell you is, to the initial tweets, a heated exchange is probably a bit much. I mean, look, they definitely got after it, but heated, that's probably a bit too far. So I'm not going to really talk about how things went down in the conference meeting. What I will say is that there are a lot of members who are upset. It's not just Chip, it's myself and others, about the members in our conference who voted for this infrastructure bill, which basically has greenlit the Biden agenda here on Capitol Hill. As far as I was concerned, Friday morning, the infrastructure bill was pretty much dead until you had 13 of our members cross the aisle to help Joe Biden, give him a win where he should not have had one. If you wanted to do infrastructure, you could have negotiated a better deal with the president, who frankly was just drowning and needed anything to keep his political capital alive here in Washington, D.C., and frankly in the country. I think with respect to Kevin McCarthy, listen, what he needs to do, in my view, is make sure that our conference stays together and that we can't have members go and help the Democrat agenda, because they are failing our country. And that's really the bottom line. So why would you give Joe Biden a lifeline when what he wants to do is make America last and basically give the communist Chinese a leg up on us, not just economically, but also militarily? So Kevin's got to do a better job of keeping our conference together so that Joe Biden doesn't get these political wins, which are political wins for him, right, but they're losers for America. Yeah,
it is a tough job. It is a coalition party, the Big Ten, as they say, but keeping everybody unified is not the easiest thing in the world to do. But this was also a particularly tough task. Now, Nancy Pelosi is saying that she's expecting a vote on the Build Back Better agenda, all this climate stuff. We talked about that at the beginning of the week, $555 billion on climate issues alone. But this isn't going to help everyday Americans. How is this going to help people in Florida when they go to the gas pumps? That's not going to help.
It's not going to help everyday Americans. It's going to make it harder for them. It's going to make it harder for small business owners to actually keep employees and get them to go to work. It's going to make it harder for Americans to be able to afford products, because the truth of the matter is when you don't have enough people working, the cost of goods, the cost of services go up on everybody. And that hurts the working poor. It hurts fixed income seniors more than anybody else. And so Nancy Pelosi is not concerned about what's going to be in the best interest of the American people. She's interested in accomplishing a legacy agenda item on her way out the door. Joe Biden is interested in a legacy on his way out the door. And the reality is that the American people are going to be saddled with this for years to come. So we need to find a way to get the votes to stop this right now. Because one thing is clear is that Nancy Pelosi never cares about the elections. She didn't care what happened in Virginia. She didn't care about the close call in New Jersey. She cares about the agenda. She's going to be pushing it no matter what. And anybody that doesn't understand that has not been watching her and hasn't watched the Democrat Party as they've operated in Washington, D.C. over the last 30 years.
The blinders are on. It's Build Back Better or bust. I think we know where it's going, though, Congressman, more in the bust direction. Great to see you. Congressman Byron Donalds from Florida, thanks so much.
Anytime. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.